Hello everyone, I'm Georgia and this is The Sound of Georgia. This video is another Julie Andrews movie versus novelisation video, and today we're looking at Torn Curtain. This is also going to be the last video in this series, because with this video I'll have done videos on every novelisation that a Julie movie got. And if there are any more out there, I don't know which ones they are, so as far as I know, there's only 4. And out of the 4, Torn Curtain would seem like the obvious one to novelise. Or at least movies like Torn Curtain would seem to be the obvious ones to novelise. The other 3 movies that got novelisations were Star, Thoroughly Modern Millie, and Darling Lily. They're all musicals. And deciding to novelise a musical is really bizarre, honestly, I think. Not that I didn't love those books, I did. In fact, as far as both the novelisations and the movies go, Torn Curtain is definitely my least favourite. But musicals would seem to be an odd choice to go with. It's not like they were even that successful. Millie was pretty big, but Star and Darling Lily were both flops. I'm getting sidetracked. Back to Torn Curtain. Even if it is my least favourite, because it's not a musical, it does work better as a novel, as far as I'm concerned. Torn Curtain is a movie where the plot confused me for a very long time, which is probably part of the reason it is the lowest on my list. But that was also the reason I picked up the novelisation in the first place. One of the last times I watched the movie, I was going, wait, somebody made a novelisation of this if I remember correctly. Maybe that could help me understand it. So I bought it, and I read it, and it did. That's the thing, I actually had to reread the book for this video, because when I first read it was last year before I started my channel. Torn Curtain tells the story of Professor Michael Armstrong, played by Paul Newman, who's a rocket scientist. It's set during the Cold War, and he needs to get a specific formula to help with the Gamma 5 missile program that he's involved in. But to do that he has to go over to East Germany. So he has to go behind the Iron Curtain, hence the title. Julie plays his assistant and fiancée, Sarah, and when she finds out he's gone over to Berlin, she thinks he's defected. And understandably that makes her pretty angry. She follows him there and there's a lot of miscommunication and wariness and mistrust until he finally tells her why he's there, to get the formula. And when he does, she realises he hasn't defected, he's just a spy. And all along the way we see him trying to make plans with this organisation called PI that will help him out of the country once he's got the formula. And after he's got the formula, the rest of the movie is them getting out. There do seem to be less differences overall between this movie and the novelisation than with the others. Sort of. When I was reading it, I felt like there were more differences on a scene-by-scene basis, but overall, the book itself was closer to the movie, if that makes any sense. No bizarre alternate ending like Darling Lily had. As I've said before in the other videos, in all of these novelisations there are essentially deleted scenes. And this time I felt like there were a lot more. And I'm pretty sure at least one of said deleted scenes was actually filmed. But even the parts that were included in the movie could at times be incredibly different. Not ending of Darling Lily incredibly different, but different. Mostly with the dialogue. That's what I kind of mean when I say it's the most different on a scene-by-scene basis, but the closest overall. For example, the opening scene with Sarah and Michael in bed. Whew! Yes, that was considered pretty scandalous for Julie Andrews back then, because this came right off the heels of Sound of Music. Anyway, that scene has been expanded quite a lot, and there are only a couple of lines of dialogue that are close to what we see in the film. There's a scene early on in both where Michael needs to get a book that tells him about the organisation that's going to smuggle him out of Germany once he's in there and got the formula. In both he feigns that he doesn't have anything to do with it when he gets the radiogram, but in the book he goes to the bookshop himself to get it. In the movie, Sarah's the one that does it. Then there's the scene where Michael comes clean to her. In the movie Sarah snapped and she's walked off very angry. And we see Michael walk up to her and it's completely silent and we just see her face and no, he's told her the truth and that she understands. Obviously in the book you can't do that. So in the book he talks to her about baseball and uses it as a kind of metaphor for how it's all going to work. It's weird. But despite all the differences, overall these are two closer than any of the others, as I said. And when you get to the end, just like in the Millie novelisation, you feel like you're reading the movie. As Michael and Sarah are escaping, they come across the Countess Kunchinska, I think. Or more accurately, she just pops out of nowhere and pounces on them. And once that's happened, she actually helps them get to their next contact, which is the final step before they get smuggled out. But oh my god, is it weird. To me, when I watched the movie, she always kind of felt like a bit of an afterthought, just as much as a Deus Ex Machina, which to an extent I guess she is. I definitely think it's a commentary on, or example of, what was happening at that point. She's been exiled and she wants to go to America to start a new life, but to do that she needs a visa, and to get a visa she needs a sponsor. And she just pops out of nowhere and then disappears just as quickly after Michael and Sarah have made it to the next leg of their journey. I still don't even know how she knew about Michael to pick him out of the blue. Both Julie and Paul Newman were pretty miscast in this film. Really the only reason they were cast was because they were the biggest actor and actress at the time of the film. And names mean a lot. That was why Julie didn't get My Fair Lady. But because of that they were pretty miscast. Not that I don't enjoy their performances, and I can't speak for Paul Newman, I don't know enough about his other stuff, but Julie did this after two incredibly successful movie musicals, and now she's in a Hitchcock thriller movie. She's actually said the biggest thing she got out of the movie was working with Hitchcock. Overall, I'd say out of all the novelizations of Julie movies that were written, this one is the most faithful and the least faithful at the same time. Hey look, just like last week, on a scene-by-scene basis, the movie and the book are very different, but overall the plot is pretty much exactly the same. And I think that definitely has something to do with the fact that this movie was not a musical. You can't get the full effect of a musical on paper, and so this story definitely translates to a novel better than any of the others. And that's everything I've got for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this last installment of Julie Andrews Movies vs Novelisations. So let me know if you've seen Torn Curtain. If you're a fan of the movie, you might want to check out the novelisation. Also, being that this is the last in the series, what Julie movie do you think it was best that was novelised? For me, I think this one was the best to novelise, but definitely my least favourite, personally. My fave would probably be Millie. Also, are there any other movies Julie made that you would have liked to see novelised? I would have loved it if Sound of Music got a novelisation. It would definitely not be the same as Maria's memoir, and they've novelised musicals before, as we've seen with all the other entries. Star was a biopic, so it's not like it being based on a real person would hold them back. But all of the books were written back when the movies came out, so I doubt that will happen. So I guess I'll just have to live with fanfic. I hope you enjoyed, guys! Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my video next week. So long, bye-bye!